I felt it was important that we all know, get an answer to the question if they wanted me to continue in that role. And so we put the question to them. They made a different decision. We need to come together and figure out who our speaker is going to be. I'm going to work as hard as I can to help that individual so that we can go help the American people.
To me, it reminds me how incredibly irresponsible it was for 208 Democrats and 8 Republicans to put this House into absolute chaos without any kind of a plan for how we were going to move forward.
Now, there's got to be a set of rules that we all play by. Because if you give into that, you're allowing yourself to be walked out and be a victim. That's not right. So I think we had to stand on principle here. We need to go back to what works.
Brownlee, Jeffries, Buchanan, Donalds,
You're going to run?
So you are going to run for speaker.
What makes you
So,
think you can get
can you tell us what happened inside the
What are you going to do differently?
How are you going to be able to get 217 votes?
Right.
Well, if we don't think we're going to get 217 votes, then we ought to just give the gavel to Hakeem Jeffries. So we just got to work hard. It's different.
Having the American people be able to see how we're wrestling with the tough decisions and what we're trying to do and doing it with intensity and doing it because we care about this country. And God bless all of these people who put their names forward. All of the stuff that we're wrestling with, because it's a hell of a lot better than the way the rest of the world has always done it. God bless.
No further nominations. The reading clerk will now call the roll.
Adams. Jeffries. Adderholt. Jordan. Aguilar. Jeffries. Alford. Jordan. Bacon. McCarthy. Diaz-Balart. Scalise. Kelly of Pennsylvania.
Former Speaker of the House, the Honorable John Boehner.
Boehner.
The House will come to order. The tellers agree in their tallies that the total number of votes cast is 433, of which the Honorable Jim Jordan of the state of Ohio has received 199. The Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of the state of New York has received 212. The Honorable Kevin McCarthy of the state of California has received 5. The Honorable Byron Donalds of the state of Florida has received 1. The Honorable Tom Emmer of the state of Minnesota has received 1. Lee Zeldin of the state of New York has received 3. The Honorable Steve Scalise of the state of Louisiana has received 7. The Honorable Mike Garcia of the state of California has received 1. Candace Miller of the state of Michigan has received 1. John Boehner of the state of Ohio has received 1. The Honorable Kay Granger of the state of Texas has received 1. The Honorable Bruce Westerman of the state of Arkansas has received 1. No person having received a majority of the whole number of votes cast by surname, a speaker has not been elected. Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the chair declares the House in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
Anybody talk to you about anything yet?
Yeah, so you guys are going to go home?
Yeah, unfortunately, Jim is no longer going to be the nominee. We'll have to go back to the drawing board. What history will look at, the Crazy Eights led by Gates, the amount of damage they have done to this party and to this country is insurmountable. I've never seen this amount of damage done to just a few people for their own personalities, for their own fear of what's going through. And really, it's astonishing to me, and we are in a very bad position as a party, one that has won the majority, one that America has entrusted us with, that a simple 8 people have put us in this place.
Do you expect to be on the candidate forum list?
I don't know. I mean, on a very serious note, this is talking about the person third in line to the presidency. And the furthest step anybody takes is from the front row to the podium. A lot of people here that might put their name in might not have the knowledge of what it takes in others. So I hope we had some other people up for the job. They both could have done the job. I'm concerned about where we go from here.
Will you get back in? Will you get back in?
Will you put your name in again?
Well, it was, I told the conference it was an honor to be there, speaker designee, but I felt it was important that we all know, get an answer to the question if they wanted me to continue in that role. And so we put the question to them. They made a different decision. I told the conference that I appreciated getting to work with everyone, talk with everyone. I got to know members in our conference that I didn't really know that well over the last 3 weeks, and that we need to come together and figure out who our speaker is going to be. I'm going to work as hard as I can to help that individual so that we can go help the American people. And I'm also going to go back to work. We got several depositions lined up next week in the Judiciary Committee, work that we need to do for the American people in our investigative work. So we'll go back to work there. But it's important we do unite. Let's figure out who that individual is, get behind him, and get to work for the American people. Thank you all very much.
Do you have any preference of who you want to see as speaker?
President Biden has made clear that there is serious business that needs to be done for the American people. But in order for that to happen, we need the House of Representatives to reopen so we can meet the needs of the American people domestically and in terms of our national security interests, so that we can stand by Israel in its time of need, stand by Ukraine in its time of need, stand by our allies throughout the world, provide humanitarian assistance to civilians in Gaza who may be in harm's way, and reach a spending agreement so we can keep the government open, avoid a shutdown, and continue to solve problems on behalf of everyday Americans. House Democrats continue to make clear that we are willing to find a bipartisan path forward so we can reopen the House and solve problems for hard-working American taxpayers. It's time for traditional Republicans to get off the sidelines, get in the arena, realize that the chaos, dysfunction, and extremism has to end, and the only way to do it is to figure out how we can partner in a bipartisan fashion to reopen the House and govern in a reasonable, common sense way. But there's going to have to be a move on the Republican side of the aisle to make a decision to break with the extremists who are tearing the Republican conference apart. It's a mess on the other side of the aisle, and the problem is the American people are paying the price. House Republicans rejected McCarthy. House Republicans rejected Scalise. House Republicans rejected Jordan. House Republicans have apparently rejected McHenry. This can only be done in a bipartisan fashion, and we're serious about partnering with House Republicans in a reasonable way to do the business of the American people.
Nominations are now in order. The chair recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. McCarthy.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to nominate Jim Jordan for the Speaker of the House. Trust me, being Speaker is not an easy job, especially in this conference. But I've seen Jim spend his entire career fighting for freedom, no matter what, no matter the odds, and I know he is ready for the job. And so it is my honor to say, as a member of the Republican Conference, I am directed by the vote of that conference to present for the election to the office of Speaker of the House of Representatives the name of my friend, the Honorable Jim Jordan, a representative from the state of Ohio. I yield back.
The chair now recognizes the gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Ms. Clark.
Every day, the majority chooses to engage in a Republican civil war that is threatening their own members instead of engaging with us in the work of the American people is a day that weakens this institution and the standing of our country. We need a speaker who will govern through consensus, not conflict. We need a speaker worthy of wielding that gavel, a leader who will defend democracy, not degrade it. More than ever, we need proven, patriotic, people-first leadership. And that is why I am proud to nominate Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker of the House.
Bacon. McHenry. Brownlee. Jeffries. Buchanan. Donalds. Jeffries. Jeffries. Jordan. Jordan.
The tellers agree in their tally that the total number of votes cast is 429, of which the Honorable Jim Jordan of the state of Ohio has received 194. The Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of the state of New York has received 210. The Honorable Patrick McHenry of the state of North Carolina has received 6. All right, the House will come to order. The House will come to order. The Honorable Byron Donalds of the state of Florida has received 2. The Honorable Tom Emmer of the state of Minnesota has received 1. Lee Zeldin of the state of New York has received 4. The Honorable Steve Scalise of the state of Louisiana has received 8. The Honorable Mike Garcia of the state of California has received 1. The Honorable Kevin McCarthy of the state of California has received 2. The Honorable Bruce Westerman of the state of Arkansas has received 1. No person having received a majority of the whole number of votes cast by surname, a speaker has not been elected. Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the chair declares the House in recess, subject to the call of the chair.